Modern life feels like a never-ending current, sometimes calm, sometimes chaotic. There are days when we feel drained, not because of anything major, but simply from a careless comment, an unexpected situation, or an unnamed worry tugging at our hearts. In the middle of that rush, how do we hold on to a peaceful mind, a gentle smile, and a positive view of life? Buddhism never promised that life would be easy. But through its profound teachings, the Buddha offered us something better keys to unlock the door to inner peace. These lessons aren't lofty or unreachable. They are as close and comforting as your breath or a warm cup of tea on a chilly day. So, if you've ever asked yourself, how can I stay positive and calm in such a noisy world? The answers below may offer you simple yet powerful guidance. Let's begin step by step. Speak kindly to yourself. Compassion begins within. Have you ever noticed how many words run through your mind each day? Hundreds, sometimes thousands. And most of them are spoken silently to yourself. The sad truth is those inner words are often not very kind. We criticize ourselves. We compare. We judge. We say things to ourselves that we would never say to a friend because it would be too cruel. Buddhism teaches that speech carries energy, and that energy doesn't only move outward, it circles back and nourishes or harms our own heart. The Buddha called this right speech, and it doesn't just apply to how we talk to others, but especially to how we speak to ourselves. Just imagine, what if you had a friend who was always gentle with you? Someone who never scolded you when you stumbled, who always reminded you that you're enough, that you're trying your best, and that you deserve love. Wouldn't you feel stronger, safer, more at peace? Well, that friend can be you. If you know how to pause, turn inward, and practice speaking kindly to yourself. In Buddhist practice, compassion doesn't begin with helping others. It begins with softening toward ourselves. Some mistakes don't need excuses, but they also don't need punishment. Some wounds don't need to be hidden, but they shouldn't be deepened by harsh self-talk either. When you say the wrong thing or take the wrong step, instead of beating yourself up with, "What's wrong with me?" try gently saying, "It's okay. Everyone makes mistakes. I've learned something today." That one shift won't erase the mistake, but it opens the door to healing, and that door, it doesn't open through guilt. It opens through kindness. To train self-compassion, start by noticing your inner dialogue. Do thoughts like these sound familiar? I failed again. Everyone must think I'm useless. I'll never be good enough. These aren't just thoughts. They're like sharp blades, slicing away at your confidence, your self-worth, your inner peace. So instead, try replacing them with gentle affirmations. At first, it may feel awkward, maybe even fake. But like planting seeds, keep at it and something real will grow. Try saying, "I am worthy of love. I'm growing a little every day. I am strong and I am resilient." This isn't lying to yourself. This is feeding your heart with words it's longed to hear, so it has the strength to face life with calm and clarity. Alongside affirmations, meditation and mindful breathing are your greatest allies. Just a few minutes each day, sitting quietly, eyes closed, following your breath in and out, letting go of harsh thoughts as they arise, will create a quiet space within you. And in that space, compassion can bloom. Self-compassion doesn't mean letting yourself off the hook. It means building a solid ground inside, so when life gets hard, you don't crumble. When you know how to be kind to yourself, you're not so easily shaken by what others say because your inner world is already warm, wide, and still. In a symphony, the most beautiful moments are not always the loudest notes. Sometimes it's the silence between them that touches your soul. The same is true in life. Your relationship with yourself is the foundation of all other relationships. If you forget how to love yourself, you'll constantly search for approval in others. But if you can gently whisper, "I'm finding my way. I'm not perfect, but I'm blooming in my own time," then healing has already begun. Let that be the first breath you take today, a breath of kindness spoken softly within. You deserve it. 2. Plant seeds of gratitude daily. Contentment is the first step to happiness. Once you've learned to speak kindly to yourself, you've already begun planting seeds of compassion in your heart. But for those seeds to grow and take root, they need one powerful nutrient, something deeply treasured in Buddhism: gratitude. Gratitude is a quiet kind of miracle. It doesn't just make your mind more positive, it changes the way you see the entire world. The Buddha once taught, "A grateful heart is the foundation of a happy life." And when you think about it, isn't it true? Many times we feel sad, restless, or anxious, not because we truly lack anything, but because we've been too focused on everything we don't have. This constant craving, it blinds us to what's already here, the warmth, the beauty, the simple moments that quietly hold our lives together. So today, try shifting your gaze. Instead of waking up with a sigh, try waking up with a soft smile and a silent whisper of thanks. Thank you. I'm still breathing. Thank you. I have a roof over my head. Thank you. I have a warm cup of tea to hold in my hands. That is Buddhist gratitude. It doesn't begin with having more, it begins with seeing more deeply into what you already have. Gratitude in Buddhism isn't limited to material things. It's also about your relationships, your lessons, and the small, ordinary moments that shape your days. You can feel grateful for a stranger's kind smile at a cafe, or a difficult moment that revealed your inner strength. You can even thank the rain on a quiet afternoon because it made you pause and feel life moving gently around you. The Buddha saw gratitude as a force of transformation. When you are grateful, you no longer demand that life be perfect. You begin to receive it just as it is and realize you were never truly lacking. You just hadn't noticed how full your life already was. To make gratitude a habit, start simple. Keep a small journal by your bedside. Each night before sleep, write down 3 things you're thankful for. It could be a warm conversation, a nourishing meal, a quiet moment of stillness in the middle of a busy day. It might sound small, but over time, this practice rewires your mind. Your brain will slowly shift from scanning for problems to noticing the blessings. And even in tough times, you'll find you can still be grateful. Grateful for sadness because it teaches you compassion. Grateful for loss because it shows you what truly matters. Grateful even for the ones who hurt you because they gave you the chance to practice forgiveness and letting go. Gratitude doesn't have to be loud. It's in a gentle hug, a kind look, or a simple thank you that comes from the heart. Even on the coldest day, that warmth can light up someone else's life. And you know what? When gratitude becomes your default setting, life begins to feel lighter. You stop chasing happiness in faraway dreams and start finding it blooming quietly, right where you stand. When you're grateful for what is, you stop complaining about what isn't. When you honor the present, you stop fearing the future. And then life is no longer a race of endless desires, but a sacred walk through a garden where each step is a soft thank you whispered into the universe. 3. Cultivating a positive mindset. Buddhism teaches us that the mind is the root of all things. It shapes the way we see the world, the way we live, and ultimately, whether we suffer or find peace. If your mind is clouded, even the most beautiful scenery can feel heavy. But if your mind is clear and bright, you can see sunlight breaking through, even on the stormiest day. So what does it really mean to keep a positive mindset? It doesn't mean denying your struggles. It doesn't mean forcing yourself to smile when you don't feel like it. According to the Buddha, a positive mind begins with mindfulness, the ability to come back to the present moment and clearly observe the thoughts and emotions rising within us. The Buddha spoke about right thinking, how we choose to perceive life, how we respond to what's happening. If your mind keeps repeating thoughts like, "I'm not good enough," or "everything is working against me," then over time, those thoughts become your reality. But if you can pause, breathe slowly, and recognize what you're feeling without judgment, you begin to take back the power over your inner world. Think of your mind as a garden. If you don't tend to it, weeds will grow. And what are those weeds? Worry, anger, envy, self-doubt. So keeping a positive mindset isn't about waiting for better thoughts to come. It's about planting better seeds every single day. Life is like a flowing river. It never stops moving. And just like the river, our minds are always in motion. That's why we need an anchor, something to hold on to when our thoughts start drifting into fear, stress, or anger. That anchor is mindfulness. And mindfulness isn't some mystical concept. It shows up in the simplest things. When you eat a meal and actually taste the warmth, the texture, the flavor, you're present. When you watch a sunset without rushing to take a photo, without overthinking, just watching and letting your heart soften, you're present. To live with mindfulness is to stop being pulled back by the past or pushed forward by the future. You rest in this moment, this breath, where true peace lives. You can begin gently. Each day, take a few minutes to sit quietly. Close your eyes. Just breathe. Feel the coolness of the inhale, the warmth of the exhale. You don't have to do anything. Just be with yourself fully. And then, in your daily life, washing dishes, walking down the street, folding clothes, talking to someone, give your full attention to that moment, as if it's the most important thing in the world. At first, your mind will wander. That's normal. Just bring it back gently. And each time you do, you're strengthening your inner clarity. Over time, something beautiful begins to happen. The negative seeds start to fade, and positive seeds like gratitude, calm, and quiet joy begin to grow. Your mind becomes like a spring garden, less overrun by weeds, more filled with gentle blooms. Keeping a positive mindset isn't a one-time decision. It's a daily practice, a spiritual discipline that starts small but transforms everything. And you know what? When you learn how to stay positive in ordinary life, you begin to see something extraordinary. Happiness doesn't require a perfect life. It only requires you to be fully present with one breath, one moment, one genuine smile. And in that moment, peace is already enough. Always has been, always will be. 4. Caring for the body, the first temple to be restored. In Buddhism, the body and the mind are never separate. If the mind is the light, then the body is the lantern that holds it. No matter how radiant the light is, if the lantern is broken, the light cannot shine. On the other hand, a strong, healthy body becomes a sacred temple where the mind can rest and grow. Many spiritual seekers believe spiritual practice is about the mind. The body is just temporary. But in truth, to train the mind, we must begin by caring for the body. It is the very tool that allows us to sit in meditation, walk mindfully, and live with awareness. So, how do we care for the body truly? First, we must understand that health isn't just physical. It's the harmony between body, mind, breath, emotion, and lifestyle. Eating, resting, moving. These aren't just daily tasks. They're forms of practice. Imagine your body as a garden. If you don't water it, nourish it, or let it rest, it will slowly dry out. And when the body is tired, the mind becomes unstable, more reactive, more vulnerable to suffering. Balanced eating is the first key. You don't need complicated diets. Just listen to your body. Choose what nourishes you. As the Buddha taught, follow the middle way. Not indulgence, not harsh restriction. Even a simple meal eaten in mindfulness and gratitude is a form of meditation. Gentle movement is the second key. You don't have to push your limits. Just walk in silence each day. Breathe with your steps. Feel the breeze, the warmth of the sun. That alone nourishes the body and soothes the soul. Gentle yoga tai chi or even a morning stretch. These help your energy flow and your body stay resilient. Sleep and rest are the third and most forgotten element. In today's world, being busy is worn like a badge of honor. But no one can stay mindful when they're burnt out. The Buddha once said, "A weary body cannot hold a steady mind, so honor your sleep." Give your body time to recover, to heal itself naturally. And above all, I want to highlight meditation, the sacred medicine. Even 10 minutes a day can reconnect your body and mind. As you breathe deeply and scan your body, you begin to sense the tightness and gently release it. That stillness doesn't just relax you, it activates your body's inner wisdom to restore and rebalance. Through meditation, you'll begin to see this body is not just a shell. It is your truest companion on the path. Ask yourself, how have you treated your body all these years? When it's tired, do you push it harder? When you're sad, do you punish it with unhealthy habits? When it's in pain, do you ignore it and hope it heals on its own. The Buddha taught, "This body is the vehicle for the journey." Without taking care of the vehicle, the path cannot be completed. If your body is a temple, then you are the gentle monk who cares for it with compassion and understanding. And once you begin to truly honor your body, not for its appearance, but because it is the only home, your soul has something changes. You slow down. You live more gently, more mindfully, and more deeply. A healthy body paired with a steady mind. This is the pair of wings that will carry you through life's storms without being swept away. 5. Embracing change. With an open heart, life never stands still. Everything around us, people, emotions, jobs, the weather. Our age is in constant motion. In Buddhism, this truth is called impermanence, one of the core teachings of the Buddha. Impermanence isn't meant to scare us. It's a reminder nothing lasts forever. So when something good happens, cherish it deeply. And when something painful arises, know that it too shall pass. But here's the question. How will you choose to live in this ever-changing world? Will you cling tightly to the familiar, or will you open your heart and step outside your comfort zone, willing to grow, stumble, and rise again? Trying something new doesn't have to be dramatic. It might be as simple as waking up 15 minutes earlier to meditate, or striking up a conversation with someone you don't know, or taking a different route home instead of the same street every day. Picture yourself as a child entering a vast playground. Every new game you try, win or fall, gives you experience. And from these moments, you begin to understand yourself better. What scares you, what brings you joy, and what you're truly capable of. You might say, "I want to change, but I'm afraid." And that's okay. We all are. Afraid of failing, afraid of being judged, afraid we're not enough. But here's the truth. Fear isn't real. It's a shadow created by the mind, shaped by past wounds, by expectations, or by the voices of others. When you let fear control you, you stay stuck in a loop where nothing new can grow. Think of a tree in the wind. If it's too rigid, it breaks. But if it bends and flows with the breeze, it not only survives, it grows stronger. Our minds are just like that. A stiff mind snaps. A flexible mind evolves. Every time you step outside your comfort zone, no matter how small, you move closer to becoming who you're meant to be. You learn how to rise after falling. You realize you're more resilient than you thought. And you begin to trust yourself, not because you're perfect, but because you're courageous enough to try. The Buddha never asked us to live in fear or in hiding. He encouraged us to investigate, to experiment, to practice, so that truth reveals itself through direct experience. You can't understand freedom with words. You have to walk toward it, one step at a time. So today, ask yourself, what have I always wanted to do but never dared? What fear is holding me back that if I overcame it, I'd feel lighter? And then, just take one small step. One step toward what you've been avoiding. When you embrace change, you give your soul room to grow. And when you dare to try something new, you plant seeds of wisdom, courage, and self-trust. Life won't wait for you to be ready, but life will meet you the moment you begin. 6. Set realistic goals. The middle way is the steadiest path forward. Once you've dared to step out of your comfort zone and opened your heart to change and growth, the next lesson is this: set goals that are aligned with your current capacity, not so high that you burn out and not so low that you stay stuck in place. Over the years, one truth has become clear. Many people dream big, but never get very far. Not because they lack talent, but because they set goals that don't match where they are right now. In Buddhism, this is known as the middle way, a path that avoids extremes. Not too harsh, not too passive, not pushing too hard, but not drifting aimlessly either. The Buddha once said that training the mind is like tuning a musical instrument. If the string is too tight, it breaks. Too loose, and it won't play. Life goals work the same way. Some people set huge, distant goals and end up quitting first. Why? Because the pressure disconnects them from the present moment. They grow impatient, discouraged, and overwhelmed. Others fear challenge and set only safe, tiny goals, but then spend years in the same loop with no real progress. So, what's the wiser way? Break your big goals into small, manageable steps, clear, doable actions you can take today. Think of it like climbing a mountain. You don't leap to the top. You go one step at a time. Sometimes you rest. Sometimes you look back and honor how far you've come. Imagine a ladder. If the rungs are too far apart, you'll slip. But if each step is just within reach, you'll climb steadily and with strength. Each time you complete a small goal, celebrate it. Thank yourself. Let joy grow in those quiet victories, because those little wins, they're bricks. And over time, brick by brick, you build something lasting, a solid foundation for your life. The middle way not only helps you reach your goals, it builds patience and inner resilience. In today's world, everyone wants quick success, instant fixes, transform in 7 days. But as the Buddha taught, anything solid takes time. Like an ancient tree, you can't rush it. It needs rain, sun, storms, and time. When you walk slowly but steadily, your mind becomes like the earth, calm, grounded, unshaken by momentary storms. You learn to be patient, to face challenges without panic, to pause and realign when needed, and that is wisdom. And here's something else. Success isn't just about reaching the destination. It's about how you walk the path. Were you mindful? Were you honest? Did you grow? You might arrive fast, but if you're exhausted, lost, or no longer yourself, is that truly success? Or maybe you walk a little slower, but every step is full of awareness. Every fall becomes a lesson. Every milestone deepens your gratitude. That's a meaningful life. That's walking with presence. So today, I invite you to ask yourself, is my current goal draining me? Can I break it down into smaller, manageable steps? And most importantly, am I enjoying the journey or just racing to the finish line? Remember, success isn't about doing more. It's about doing the right things consistently, patiently, and with quiet courage. 7. Do what truly makes you happy. In Buddhism, happiness isn't some distant mountaintop or mystical experience. It's not hidden in achievements or buried under piles of success. Happiness is here in the simple moments, in doing something with your whole heart, in being fully present, in feeling your soul light up, like sunlight slipping through a crack in the door. The Buddha taught a meaningful life cannot exist without joy. But not the kind of joy that comes from applause or recognition. Real joy must rise from within, from doing what nourishes your spirit. So, let me ask you what truly makes you happy. For some, it's playing with their grandchildren. For others, it's painting, playing music, watering the garden, or simply sipping tea while listening to peaceful music and breathing. There's no universal formula for joy. Each of us has a unique inner garden, but the real question is, do you visit yours every day? In the fast pace of modern life, we often abandon ourselves. Always busy, always responsible, always thinking of others. But one day you'll realize, if you never pause to care for your inner world, no amount of success will feel fulfilling. Doing what makes you happy, that too is spiritual practice. When you act from joy, you plant light in your life. When you stay true to your values, you keep your heart aligned. That's what Buddhism calls right livelihood. Living and working in ways that match your ethics, your purpose, your inner peace. And when you live that way, you don't just heal yourself, you radiate calm and joy to others. Can you remember the last time you felt truly happy? Was it a quiet afternoon with no interruptions? A moment of kindness that lit up someone's face? Or doing what you love with no pressure to impress? Doing what brings you joy isn't selfish. In fact, it's an act of compassion toward yourself. Because only when your energy is full can you give to others without running dry. Imagine yourself as a cup. If you keep pouring without ever refilling, you'll empty out. But if you add small things, each day, a smile, a breath of stillness, a moment of silence, you'll stay full enough to give, to love, to endure. You can begin with small changes. Spend 15 minutes each morning on something you love. Turn off your phone during meals. Truly savor your food. Write down 3 small joys at the end of the day. Or just allow yourself to rest without guilt. When done with gratitude and presence, these acts bring you home to yourself, not to escape, but to refill your soul, so you can return to the world with new strength. The Buddha said, "A peaceful mind creates a peaceful world." So never underestimate the power of joy. Don't wait for everything to be perfect. Happiness is here in every mindful step, every small act done with an open heart. 8. Let go of expectations. Clinging is the root of suffering. Most of our pain doesn't come from life going wrong. It comes from wanting life to go exactly the way we imagined. Think about it. Someone might say something neutral, but because you expected them to be gentle or caring, you end up feeling hurt. A plan changes, and instead of accepting it as a natural part of life, you feel upset because in your mind, you had already created a perfect version of how things were supposed to go. The Buddha taught craving is the root of suffering, and expectations are a subtle form of craving. Not just wanting more, but wanting things to unfold our way. But here's the truth. Life doesn't operate according to our expectations. It flows based on causes and conditions. Karma, impermanence, and interdependence, just as the Buddha explained 500 years ago. So the more you expect, the more you suffer. The more you try to control, the more exhausted you become. The more you demand, the more disappointment you face. But that doesn't mean you stop trying or stop caring. Letting go of expectations is not the same as giving up. You still live, act, and love, but with a heart that's free. You still plant seeds, but you don't force the flowers to bloom on your schedule. You still love people, but you don't weigh them down with your unspoken hopes. You still give your best, but you stop letting outcomes define your worth. When you release expectations, you open the door to a rare kind of freedom of the mind, a freedom that welcomes joy and sorrow with the same gentle breath. Because now, whatever comes your way, whether it's called a blessing or a lesson, you receive it with calm and grace. Imagine living like that, waking up each day with no pressure to prove, no need to be validated, just doing what feels true, kind, and aligned with compassion. Not for praise, not for results, but because it's who you are. That's the quiet power of letting go. It's not easy, because we were all raised to have goals, chase dreams, and win. But in Buddhist teachings, happiness doesn't come from getting what we want. It comes from putting down what we no longer need to carry. Start with small moments. When someone disappoints you, remind yourself they're just being themselves, not the version I imagined. When results fall short, ask, did I give it my heart instead of, why didn't it work out the way I planned? When life suddenly shifts, take a breath and say, I can't control everything, but I can choose how I respond. Every time you let go of an expectation, you untie a knot in your heart, and over time, you'll realize peace doesn't mean nothing happens. It means you're no longer attached to how things should happen. 9. Cultivating good karma daily. Planting seeds of peace in your life. Once you begin to release expectations, the invisible strings that keep the heart restless, you'll start to feel a lightness within. But to keep that inner light glowing, there's one more truth you need to understand deeply: the importance of cultivating good karma every single day. In Buddhist teachings, karma isn't some far-off concept that only matters in the next life. Karma is what you're creating right now, with every thought, every word, every action. What you think, what you say, what you do, all of it plants a seed in the soil of your mind. And once planted, that seed will grow. Sooner or later, it will bear fruit. If you want a peaceful, positive life, you can't build it on the foundation of harmful thoughts or actions. A flower doesn't bloom in polluted soil. A peaceful heart doesn't grow from unwholesome deeds. Positive karma starts small. It begins with one honest word, a look of understanding, a simple act of kindness without expecting anything in return. Sometimes it's just sitting with someone in pain, truly listening, or choosing silence instead of criticism, or helping someone quietly without needing them to know. These might seem like small gestures, but when done with a pure heart, they're powerful. Don't wait for the right moment to do good. Every moment is the right one because you're creating karma right now. Start with your speech. Say something that calms, not something that wounds. Speak with honesty, not with double meanings. Choose kindness over sarcasm. Then look at your actions. Be kind, even when no one is watching. Let your goodness be consistent, whether praised or unseen, and go deeper to your thoughts. Let go of envy, anger, and greed, because harmful thoughts left unchecked will eventually spill into speech and behavior. Think of your life as a garden of karma. Whatever you plant today, you'll harvest tomorrow. Plant bitterness, and you'll reap suffering. But plant compassion, water it with mindfulness, and one day you'll harvest peace. The beautiful thing about good karma is it doesn't just benefit others. It transforms you first. When you live kindly, you sleep better. You speak without fear. You walk through life with a light heart and clear mind. Your inner clarity becomes your reward and your good karma. It quietly protects you, carrying you through life's storms without being swept away. So, each day, ask yourself, have I spoken a kind word today? Helped someone without expecting anything back? Forgiven someone I've held pain against? Chosen integrity even when no one saw? This is how you nurture good karma. Not for praise, not for reward, but so your own heart can live with peace, clarity, and quiet joy. 10. Surround yourself with people who radiate peaceful energy. Once you've started cultivating good karma every day through kind actions, gentle speech, and a clear, loving heart, those seeds of peace inside you begin to sprout. But for those seeds to grow strong and healthy, there's something else. You need a nourishing environment. There's a powerful Buddhist teaching that says who you are matters less than who you are near. Meaning no matter how strong your spiritual intentions may be, if you live in an environment filled with negativity, drama, or competition, you'll eventually be pulled into that current. The human mind is soft like water. Stay near angry people, and your own anger rises. Stay near complainers, and your peace dissolves. But when you're around someone with gentle, healing energy, they don't need to preach or teach, just their presence alone calms your heart. Have you ever sat next to someone who made you feel lighter just by being there? They didn't judge. They didn't try to impress. They were simply kind, honest, quiet. Being near people like that naturally slows your mind, deepens your breath, and clears your thoughts. They don't teach mindfulness. They embody it through the peaceful field of energy they carry. In today's world, where noise, rush, and endless information dominate our lives, it's easy to get swept away by social media, harsh opinions, or the pressure to keep up. That's why it's more important than ever to choose your environment. Choose your friends. Choose the community you belong to. You don't need a perfect place. You just need a space where people treat each other with care, lift each other up, and remind each other to live with integrity. Maybe it's a friend who gently reminds you to breathe when you're about to snap, or a meditation buddy who sits with you in silence, no judgment, no advice, or a small walking group on Sundays moving mindfully through a park with no need for words. These simple things, these tiny shared moments, are the foundation of mindful community. So, if you want a peaceful life, seek out peaceful people. If you want to live kindly, stay close to kind souls. If you want a lighter heart, surround yourself with those who carry less emotional clutter. You don't need a crowd of friends, just a few people who keep their hearts clean in a dusty world, and in return, be that peaceful energy for someone else. You don't have to do anything big, just live simply. Let go of anger, stop blaming. Listen more, live truthfully. By doing so, you not only lift others, you lift yourself. There's a beautiful teaching from the Buddha, walk with the wise. Be close to the honest. Stay near the humble, like soil receives the rain, like flowers seek the sun. Life is too short to waste on empty conversations, draining relationships, or environments that pull you away from your clarity. So ask yourself, do the people around me make my heart brighter or heavier? Do the environments I choose help me grow deeper in presence? Am I being a source of mindfulness and kindness for others? Life will test you. There will be days when you feel lost, tired, or disconnected. But if you pause, breathe, and come home to yourself, you'll discover there's still a quiet place within you where the light has never gone out. The Buddha never promised a life without suffering, but he offered us a path so that even in suffering, we can walk with peace in our hearts. If today you found a little peace from these words, keep nourishing it. And if you feel someone else out there needs this message, don't hesitate to share. Subscribe to the Buddhism Seeds channel. Hit like, share it with someone you care about, and leave your thoughts below. I'm here and listening. Let's keep planting seeds of peace in this world. One moment, one breath, one act of kindness at a time. Thank you for being here.